Hey guys, welcome back to T's Productions. I hope you're all doing well. As you guys can tell from the title, today we're going to be talking about my favorite games of all time. Now let me tell you, this was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. My year 12 exams don't hold a candle to making a list of your favorite games of all time. God damn, this was hard. Before we get started with the list, here are a few rules. I only chose one game per franchise, so my list can be more expansive. Any game is permitted, no matter the console, even mobile games. And that's all the rules I took into consideration. Enjoy the list, guys. Alright, number 10 belongs to Apex Legends. Apex Legends is by far my favorite battle royale game. In my opinion, Apex Legends has the most complexity of any of the BR games. I love the concept of having different characters with their own unique abilities in a battle royale game. The gunplay and movement mechanics are so smooth, most of the time at least. Yes, it's not the most polished game, by any means, but it's a game I feel enticed to keep playing, and in my books, that's a winning formula. Number 9 belongs to Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3, when the Battlefield franchise was at its prime. BF3 was a near perfect game for its time. It was such a fun FPS game, light years above Call of Duty at the time. I spent so many hours on my PS3 playing Battlefield 3. So much so that my parents thought I was an addict. Not going to lie, looking back at it, I was 100% addicted. Battlefield 3 would have been higher on my list, but I only ended up playing the game for around 8 months to a year, so it didn't really have all that much significance in my life, but it was a great game nonetheless. Number 8, Halo Combat Evolved. Oh my god, the OG Halo. What a classic. I'll tell you something, I would have not gotten through high school without the OG Halo. I used to play Halo back in the day whilst in class because class was super boring. But please, don't tell my mom. Shh. The Halo campaign was breathtaking. I love the story of Halo. The mechanics of the game were fun and casual. Oh, and the soundtrack was so good. I mean, listen to it. Pure bliss. The multiplayer scene for Halo was extremely lax and fast-paced, which was exactly why I loved it so much. Number 7, Far Cry. Now this was a hard one to decide on. Far Cry 1 or Far Cry 3. Both games were great in my opinion, so deciding on one or the other was tough. But I decided to go with the original Far Cry, simply because it has more sentimental value to me than Far Cry 3 does. Far Cry is an amazing game with a great story that was unique for its time. I remember showing all my friends that came over how dope the game was. If any of you have seen Far Cry gameplay before, you know that when the difficulty is put up, the mobs start aimbotting the hell out of you. I know it's weird, but I found it super fun. There is a certain satisfaction that comes out of finishing a game that is extremely hard. Number 6, Overwatch. Overwatch has a special place in my heart. It's the content of the first video I uploaded on this channel. It's an amazing game with a great community behind it. I never liked Team Fortress 2, so I was skeptical about Overwatch. But I was pleasantly surprised. The characters are the major draw for me. They all have their own unique backstory and amazing abilities to go with them. The game itself is so much fun and even better when you play with your friends. The competitive scene is solid, the game is challenging, and the community is great for a competitive game, unlike certain other games. Number 5, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Another entry I had trouble picking one over the other. For me, it was between Brotherhood or Black Flag. I decided to go with Brotherhood for the same reason as I did for Far Cry. It's more nostalgic to me than Black Flag. But let's be honest, the Assassin's Creed story is among one of the most detailed and interesting stories in all of video game history. I think any game that has a movie made after its story is a win in my books, even though the movie was not the best as video game movies usually are. Brotherhood was one of the first games I spent hours upon hours playing. I played this game non-stop without eating or drinking for hours. It got so bad to the point where my parents thought I was actually dead. I highly recommend you all play Assassin's Creed if you haven't played it already. Number 4, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is an iconic video game character and game. Crash Bandicoot was the catalyst to my future platformers to come. Crash was one of the first games I ever bought for my PlayStation 1 and one of the first games I ever played where I actually finished the whole game. Crash was my homie back in the day. I respected the Bandicoot like he was my brother. The concept of the game was so simple yet so challenging at the same time. Honestly, I really can't think of much else to say about Crash. Everyone knows and loves Crash Bandicoot, period. Number 3, Tekken 3. Tekken is by far my favorite game franchise. Tekken 3, however, is my favorite game out of the lot. Probably because it was the first one I played. But nonetheless, it was so much fun to play because the game was so technical and flowed so well. For its time, the game was ahead of the curve. There were so many unique characters with their own unique fighting styles. But let's be honest, the best thing about Tekken 3 was Eddie. The man was a beast. He was the character you picked if you wanted to break a friendship. And boy did I break friendships. Number 2, Combat Arms. Alright, who remembers this game? I know what you're all thinking. Combat Arms was one of your favorite games? What?
It's called fucking non-stick!
The game had so many problems with it. The game had an army of hackers. The game was pay to win. There were so many bugs in the game. So much so that it felt like I was playing the Bugs Life game. Amongst all that, Combat Arms maintained my interest for over 4 years. The gameplay was fast and fun, with some really unique game modes like Fire Team, Quarantine Region, Spy Hunt, Hired Guns, and many more. Combat Arms was the first multiplayer FPS game that I got into. It was the catalyst to the games I play today. Combat Arms will always be one of my favorite games. Alright, just before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. There had to be some COD game on this list. I chose Black Ops 2. It's a great game, with arguably the best zombies of all the CODs. Number 2, Pokemon Platinum. The first game I ever owned, and still my favorite to this day. Everyone knows the Pokemon games. It would have been in my top 10, but I finished the game so quick I almost forgot I even owned the game. Number 3, Infinity Blade 2. The only mobile game on this list has to go to Infinity Blade 2, an extremely fun mobile game that is very unique. Check it out if you haven't already. Number 4, League of fucking Legends. Fuck this shit. I played this game for 6 fucking years. 6! Let's just say the only time I play the game now is to hurt myself. I can't deny the success of this game, but my god, the community is completely fucked. Fuck League. Number 5, Minecraft. Minecraft is a classic. That's it. Number 1! My favorite game of all time belongs to Need for Speed Underground 2. This was the first game I fell head over heels for. It was love at first play. In my opinion, Need for Speed Underground 2 is the best Need for Speed game to be produced. This was a game that caused my love for cars. For its time, the game was phenomenal. This was one of the only games where my only complaint is that I wish the campaign was longer. The driving in the game was so much fun, but I think the biggest draw for me was the insane customization options available for my car. I mean, I could add extra speakers in my car that did nothing, and we all know how loud I like to play my music, right?
Damn, I'm on red alert, else you went up in the dirt.